That moisturizer on your bathroom counter right now, the one promising to erase fine lines and restore youthful skin, might be doing the exact opposite. Across Canada, millions of women and men over 50 are spending anywhere from $12 to $80 a jar on anti-aging creams packed with synthetic fragrances that accelerate skin aging, petroleum derivatives that suffocate skin cells, and chemical preservatives that disrupt hormones. Health Canada requires cosmetics to list their ingredients, but it does not require brands to prove their products actually work or that their ingredients are safe over a lifetime of daily use. That loophole has made the Canadian anti-aging moisturizer market a playground for misleading marketing and genuinely harmful formulas. In the next few minutes, we are counting down 10 anti-aging moisturizers sold right here in Canada, ranked from the absolute worst offenders all the way up to the ones actually worth your money. Stay until the end, because the top 3 are products dermatologists actually recommend, and you are going to find them in the same aisle as the brands we are about to expose. 10. Pond's Rejuvenous Anti-Wrinkle Cream. For over 100 years, Pond's has been a bathroom cabinet fixture from Halifax to Victoria. The promise on every jar is simple: softer skin, reduced lines, restored radiance. Millions of Canadian women have trusted this brand since their mothers first handed it to them. Open a jar of Pond's Rejuvenous right now and run your finger through it. Feel that thick, almost waxy texture that sits heavily on your fingertip? That is mineral oil, a petroleum byproduct derived from crude oil refining. Mineral oil creates a barrier that traps moisture, which sounds beneficial until you understand what else it traps. Dead skin cells, bacteria, and sebum are all sealed beneath that film, while your skin is prevented from breathing and regenerating naturally. Research published in the British Journal of Dermatology has linked heavy mineral oil use to accelerated aging at the cellular level because the skin never receives the biological signal to produce its own oils. But the mineral oil is not even the most urgent problem. Pond's Rejuvenous contains synthetic fragrance, listed simply as parfum on the label. Parfum is not one ingredient. It is a legal umbrella term that can conceal up to 4,000 distinct chemical compounds, none of which manufacturers are required to disclose individually. The International Fragrance Association database contains compounds linked to contact dermatitis, respiratory irritation, and endocrine disruption. The Canadian Dermatology Association has repeatedly identified fragrance as the single most common cause of allergic contact dermatitis in cosmetics. For aging skin, which is already more permeable than younger skin, those compounds penetrate more deeply and cause more cumulative damage. Pond's also contains methylparaben and propylparaben, preservatives that the European Union restricts in leave-on cosmetics due to their potential to mimic estrogen in the body. The collagen molecule. Pond's advertises on the front is too large to penetrate the skin's surface. It sits on top, provides temporary water-binding plumping, and washes off. That's not anti-aging. That is a daily illusion sold in a glass jar at your local Shoppers Drug Mart. 9. St. Ives Timeless Skin Collagen Elastin Moisturizer. St. Ives has built its entire brand identity around natural-sounding ingredients: apricot, oatmeal, collagen, elastin. The packaging is designed to make you feel like you are applying something wholesome and scientifically sound. Examine the timeless skin formula, and that illusion dissolves fast. The collagen and elastin in this product are cosmetic-grade proteins derived from animal connective tissue. They are too large molecularly to pass through the epidermis. The European Commission's Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety confirmed this in published research more than a decade ago. Applying collagen to the surface of skin does not stimulate your body to produce its own collagen. It hydrates temporarily dries, and flakes away. The collagen on the front label is marketing language, not biology. The formula also contains petrolatum, a refined form of the same petroleum jelly used in industrial applications, which creates that same occlusive, skin-suffocating layer described with Pond's. It contains synthetic fragrance and methyl paraben. Independent testing by the Environmental Working Group has assigned this product a moderate hazard rating based on its fragrance component complexity alone. For a senior in Calgary dealing with dry winter skin who picks this off the shelf at Walmart Canada, believing the collagen claim on the front, the experience will be deeply frustrating. The product feels heavy, smells synthetic, and delivers no meaningful improvement in skin structure or elasticity. At $13, it is the most misleading product on this countdown, exploiting clinical terminology to sell a petroleum moisturizer with no proven anti-aging mechanism. 8. Jergens Age-Defying Multi-Purpose Moisturizer. Jergens has been selling moisturizer in Canada for generations. Its comforting, familiar presence on pharmacy shelves, from London Drugs to Rexall, creates exactly the kind of long-term emotional trust that allows problematic formulas to go unexamined. The age-defying line targets women over 40 explicitly, promising cellular renewal and visible firming. The actual formula tells a different story. Jergens Age-Defying contains butyl paraben, one of the parabens that has drawn the most sustained regulatory scrutiny internationally. The European Union banned butyl paraben in cosmetics for children under 3 and restricted its use in other applications after research demonstrated endocrine disruption concerns. Canada still permits it at concentrations currently considered acceptable, but research published in the journal Reproductive Toxicology showed that butyl paraben can accumulate in breast tissue with repeated exposure. For women in their 50s and 60s applying this product daily to face and body, that accumulation potential is not theoretical. Jergens also contains DMDM-hydantoin, a formaldehyde-releasing preservative. Formaldehyde is classified as a known human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Cosmetic products do not contain free formaldehyde, but DMDM-hydantoin releases formaldehyde slowly over time as its preservation mechanism functions. The European Union has progressively moved to restrict formaldehyde-releasing preservatives across the past decade, while Health Canada continues to permit them at defined concentrations, a gap that should concern anyone applying this product twice daily to aging facial skin. 7. Olay Total Effects 7-in-1. Olay is one of the most recognized anti-aging brands on the planet, and across Canada, it sits prominently on shelves at every major pharmacy and mass retailer. Total Effects 7-in-1 is marketed as addressing 7 signs of aging simultaneously: fine lines, texture, tone, brightness, age spots, firmness, and hydration. It retails for around $30 Canadian, positioning itself as the intelligent choice between drugstore basics and luxury creams. The intelligence ends at the marketing copy. Olay Total Effects does contain niacinamide, a legitimately effective ingredient for skin brightening, barrier support, and reducing the appearance of pores. But that one genuinely useful ingredient is surrounded by dimethicone, a silicone polymer that temporarily fills in fine lines the way spackle fills cracks in a wall. Stop applying the spackle and the wall is completely unchanged. The silicone gives you the sensory feedback of smoothness and the immediate visual impression of improvement without delivering any actual cellular regeneration or structural benefit. The formula also contains synthetic fragrance and multiple parabens. Niacinamide alone in a clean formulation can be purchased for under $15 from other brands. You are paying the $30 Olay price to receive niacinamide wrapped in silicone film and fragrance chemistry that dermatologists across Canada have cautioned against for sensitive and mature skin types. Those 7 signs on the label are being temporarily masked, not treated, while the formula inflames the very skin barrier that proper anti-aging care should be rebuilding. 6. Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair. Neutrogena built its scientific credibility through decades of dermatologist recommendation and packaging that communicates clinical seriousness. Rapid Wrinkle Repair is one of its flagship anti-aging products and one of the most trusted moisturizers in Canadian pharmacies. The retinol in this formula is real, and retinol is a genuinely effective ingredient. The problem is everything built around it. Rapid Wrinkle Repair lists alcohol denat, denatured alcohol, as one of its prominent early ingredients. Alcohol denat evaporates quickly and creates that immediate sensation of clean, weightless absorption that consumers associate with effectiveness. What it actually does to aging skin is documented and destructive. Research published in the Journal of Investigative Dermatology demonstrated that repeated exposure to denatured alcohol on facial skin disrupts the lipid barrier and increases transepidermal water loss. Every application delivers a solvent working against the moisture retention you are paying to restore. Retinol is a photosensitizing ingredient that increases skin reactivity. Adding synthetic fragrance to a retinol formula prioritizes sensory experience over skin health outcomes. The retinol concentration in Rapid Wrinkle Repair is not disclosed on the packaging, which is legal in Canada but completely opaque to the consumer trying to evaluate efficacy. Effective clinical retinol formulas typically require concentrations between 0.025 and 0.1% used consistently over 12 or more weeks. Without knowing the concentration delivered, there is no meaningful way to assess whether you are receiving a therapeutic dose or a trace amount included to justify the retinol claim on the box. Hit subscribe so you never trust a retinol marketing claim without first understanding the concentration and the full formula surrounding it. 5. Garnier Skin Active Clearly Brighter Anti-Aging Moisturizer. Garnier has positioned its Skin Active line as skincare that bridges accessible price points and effective formulation. Clearly Brighter targets dark spots, uneven tone, and dullness, 3 concerns that genuinely intensify after 45. It is priced around 18 Canadian dollars at Walmart Canada and Jean Coutu, and its fresh green and white packaging communicates natural efficacy. The vitamin C featured prominently on the front is a marketing priority, not a formulation priority. Vitamin C in its most effective cosmetic form, L-ascorbic acid, is chemically unstable. It oxidizes and degrades when exposed to light and air, which means it requires opaque, airtight packaging to remain potent through the life of the product. Garnier's Clearly Brighter comes in a standard pump bottle that exposes the formula to air with every single use. By the time you are halfway through the bottle, the vitamin C has oxidized and lost the majority of its biological activity. You are applying a brightening claim that has already chemically degraded on your bathroom shelf. The formula also contains synthetic fragrance, alcohol, and PEGs, which are polyethylene glycols, petroleum-derived penetration enhancers. The relevant concern with penetration enhancers in a formula that also contains fragrance compounds is that they increase dermal absorption of everything present, including the synthetic aromatic chemicals that should ideally remain superficial. For anyone dealing with Canada's dry winters, a formula combining alcohol and penetration enhancers accelerates barrier breakdown rather than repairing it. 4. L'Oréal Paris Age Perfect Cell Renewal. L'Oréal Paris sits at the premium end of the Canadian drugstore anti-aging market. Age Perfect Cell Renewal retails between $35 and $45 at Shoppers Drug Mart and London Drugs, and the packaging is deliberately designed to feel adjacent to the luxury creams you would encounter at department store beauty counters. The ingredient language is dense. Centella asiatica, Revitalift Complex, Cell Renewal Technology. It is designed to create a sense of scientific authority that discourages close reading. Centella asiatica is a legitimate botanical with peer-reviewed research supporting skin barrier function and wound healing. Its presence is real, but it shares this formula with a substantial list of PEGs, synthetic fragrance, multiple synthetic preservatives, and BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene. BHT has been classified as a possible endocrine disruptor in research published in Toxicology Letters, where it showed interference with estrogen signaling pathways. For postmenopausal women whose hormonal environment is already shifting, applying an ingredient with documented endocrine disrupting potential daily to facial skin represents a risk with no proportionate formulation benefit, especially when genuinely effective alternatives are available without it. The fragrance and PEG backbone remain, and for a $40 Canadian moisturizer competing against products formulated with considerably more care, that is a significant failure. If you just mentally scanned your bathroom cabinet and recognized most of those names, you are not alone. These brands dominate Canadian pharmacy shelves because their marketing budgets are enormous and their formulation costs are minimal. But the anti-aging category also contains products built around the actual biology of aging skin. The next three represent a genuinely different standard. 3. Rosy Retinol Correction Line Smoothing Cream. Rosy has been building its retinol credibility since the early 1990s, and the science behind that foundation is more legitimate than most brands operating in this category will ever establish. Retinol is one of the only cosmetic ingredients with genuine, peer-reviewed, placebo-controlled evidence demonstrating its ability to stimulate collagen synthesis, accelerate cellular turnover, and produce measurable reduction in the appearance of fine lines with consistent use over time. Rosy uses a stabilized retinol encapsulation technology and has funded independent 12-week studies showing statistically significant improvement in skin texture. That is a higher standard of evidence than the vast majority of anti-aging brands on Canadian shelves ever bothered to pursue. The limitations are real, and you deserve to know them. Rosy Retinol Correction still contains synthetic fragrance, which actively undermines the formula for anyone with sensitive skin, rosacea, or significant barrier compromise. Retinol already induces a temporary adjustment period characterized by dryness and increased sensitivity as cellular turnover accelerates. Layering fragrance chemistry on top of that process introduces irritation variables that many users experience as a prolonged and discouraging adjustment they incorrectly blame on the retinol itself. If you can introduce it slowly and tolerate the fragrance, the stabilized retinol technology here delivers what it claims. Available at Rexall and Shoppers Drug Mart across Canada in the $25 to $35 range. 2. Aveeno Positively Ageless Daily Moisturizer, SPF 30. Aveeno holds a meaningful position in the Canadian skincare market because it has a genuine scientific heritage that predates the marketing era of wellness branding. The colloidal oat extract that anchors Aveeno formulations has extensive peer-reviewed research confirming its role in skin barrier repair, reduction of inflammatory mediators, and support of the epidermal moisture gradient. For aging skin, which is always compromised skin, a rebuilt and reinforced barrier is not a cosmetic bonus. It is the biological foundation upon which every other anti-aging benefit depends. When your barrier is functioning properly, moisture is retained more effectively. The skin responds less reactively to environmental stressors, and the cellular microenvironment necessary for natural regeneration is maintained. Positively ageless includes SPF 30, and this inclusion separates it decisively from most of its competition on this list. Sun protection is not a supplementary step in anti-aging skincare. Ultraviolet radiation is responsible for approximately 80% of visible facial aging, including the fine lines, pigmentation, and loss of firmness that every product on this countdown claims to address. Every moisturizer ranked below this one that does not include SPF is asking you to spend money on a treatment while leaving the primary cause of skin aging completely unmanaged. The current Canadian formulation is fragrance-free, which removes the most consistent irritant from the equation. The colloidal oat technology is backed by genuine data. The SPF is meaningful. The limitation is a modest retinoid concentration, making it excellent daily maintenance and environmental protection, but less suited to active line correction. Available across Canada for roughly $20 to $28. Wang 1 Marcel Anti-Aging Ultra Rich Moisturizer. If Marcel is not already in your bathroom, this is the moment that changes that. Marcel is a genuinely Canadian brand, founded in Quebec in 1959, and it is still operating with a dermatologist-tested, allergist-tested formulation philosophy that is not marketing language. This brand has been making fragrance-free, hypoallergenic skincare since before fragrance-free became a trend that other brands began adopting strategically when consumer awareness caught up to the science. Marcel did not pivot to fragrance-free because it became profitable to do so. It has been fragrance-free for 65 years because the founders understood that unnecessary irritants have no place in products applied to skin that is already under stress. The ultra-rich anti-aging moisturizer does not rely on petroleum derivatives to simulate the sensation of treatment. The formula centers on hyaluronic acid, a moisture-binding molecule your skin produces naturally and loses steadily with each passing decade, and peptides, short-chain amino acids that interact with fibroblasts in the dermis and have documented research supporting their role in collagen and elastin synthesis at the cellular level. These are not cosmetic fillers. They are actives with biological mechanisms. The fragrance-free formulation means that aging skin, which is already operating with reduced barrier capacity and increased permeability, receives none of the contact sensitization load that undermines every product ranked below it on this countdown. You will find it at Shoppers Drug Mart, Pharmaprix, Jean Coutu, and most major Canadian pharmacies for between 25 and 38 Canadian dollars, which places it competitively inside the price range it is categorically outperforming. For a woman in her 60s in Montreal, or a man over 50 in Vancouver who has been cycling through products that promise everything and deliver fragrance-induced irritation and petroleum occlusion, Marcel is the answer that has been sitting on Canadian shelves for 6 decades without needing a $100 million campaign to justify its place there. The best skincare does not always shout the loudest. Sometimes it has simply been right all along. Now you know what is actually in those jars. From Pond's petroleum occlusion and hidden parabens to Marcel's 65-year commitment to fragrance-free, evidence-based formulation. The difference between what accelerates aging and what genuinely supports your skin is not always visible through the front of the packaging. Go to your bathroom cabinet tonight, flip over every moisturizer, and read the first 5 ingredients. If you see mineral oil, petrolatum, alcohol denat, or parfum near the top of that list, you now know what to do. If you see hyaluronic acid, ceramides, stabilized retinol, or peptides without fragrance, you are already in better territory than most Canadians who trust whatever sits at eye level on the shelf. Drop a comment below with the brand you are currently using. We want to know how many of the products on this countdown are sitting in Canadian bathrooms right now. If this video helped you see the skincare aisle differently, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who has been trusting the wrong jar for years. More Canadian consumer investigations are coming. Stay sharp, stay informed, and take care of your skin with the respect it has earned.